Hello everyone. Today in this session we will be discussing about the conditional statements. So a statement which make decisions based on the conditions are known as conditional statements. So we have 5 types in this. Those are if statement, if else, nested if else if and switch case. So we'll see each one in detail. So let us first see if statement. So in the if statement, if the condition is true, it goes inside the if block, that is this is the if block, and it executes the statement inside the if block. Okay, if the condition is false, we won't get any output. Okay, and this is the flow chart for the if statement. If the condition is true, it executes the statement. If false, it terminates or exits from the program. So let us see the program and you'll understand it in a better way. So first we'll write a program on if statement. So syntax of if statement is if followed by condition. So condition I'm taking it as a is greater than 2. So if the condition is true, it brings the statement inside the if block, that is valid. I'll take percentage. So here you can mention braces. If you don't mention also no problem, but for a single statement you need not to mention braces. For a multiple statements you need to mention the braces. So I'll not take braces now. I'll run this program. It will ask me to enter the a value. So I'll take a value as 3. So valid. Hence the a value is greater than 2. It prints valid. So we'll see next. That is if else statement. If before case in if statement there is no statement for false condition, but in this if else statement we can also print statements for false conditions. I'll show you. This is the flow chart for if else statement. That is, if the condition is true, it goes inside the if block. If the condition is false, it goes inside else block. And this syntax for this, if followed by condition, if this is true, it brings the statement inside the if block, and if this condition is false, it goes inside the else block and prints the statement. So let us see the program. Else printf not valid. That means if I take a value if I take a value less than 2, it has to print not valid because the condition is false. So let us run this and see. A values, I'll take 1. As the condition is false, it prints not valid. Okay, I'll run, and this time I'll take a true condition, that is 5. It prints valid. Okay, now next is nested if. What is a nested if else means? If within the if block is known as nested if. That is, we have 2 if statements here, that is outer if and inner if block. So in the outer if, say if is followed by condition. If this condition is true, then it goes inside the if block, and inside we have another if block and else block. If this outer if block is false, it goes to the else block. That means here we have two if conditions, one is outer if and the inner if. Okay, this is the syntax. So if followed by condition, if it is true it goes inside, and if the inner if is true, it prints the statement. Okay, if the inner if is false, it prints the inner else. Okay, if the outer if is false, it prints outer else statement. And this is a flow chart for this nested if else. See, this condition is true, it goes inside an inner if block. Inside the inner if block, if the condition is true, it executes if block. If it is false, else block executes. If the outer condition, that is outer if condition, is false, it goes to outer else block. So if you see this program, you'll understand it in a better way. So here I'll take a condition that is not equal to 0. So if it's not valid, else printf, I'll take no, it is okay, no, I'll take, that's it. Okay, I'll tell you clearly here. See, here we have two if. I already told you, as the if block contains more than multiple statement, it has to be represented in a braces. So this whole block is a one if block. Okay, for that I need to place this inner if inside the outer if, so I'm mentioning braces here. Okay, so first it checks the condition, that is A is not equal to true. Sorry, if A is not equal to 0, it goes inside this outer block, outer if statement. So inside the outer if, we have if condition. Here I'll take A is greater than 2. If this inner if statement is true, it prints this statement, that is valid. If this inner if statement is false, it has to print not valid. Okay, this is inside the if block. And if the outer if is false, that is if the value of A is 0, then it has to print no. Let us run this. First I'll take 0, that means outer if block, that is outer if statement is false condition, it has to print no. I'll take one more condition. I'll take 5, valid, because 5 is greater than 2 as well as not equal to 0, so it prints valid. So if I take 1, prints not valid, because as 1 is not equal to 0, it goes inside the inner if block, but 1 is not greater than 2, so it prints me not valid as it's a false condition. Next we have one more statement, that is else if, that I'll directly show you in the program. See, in the else if block we can take more than one condition, that is I'll show you how. Here I'll take A is equal to 2, that is one condition. If A is equal to 2, it prints dollar. Okay, if A is equal to 3, it has to print star. Here else if. Okay, whenever we take one or more conditions, then we have to use this else if. Okay, So I'm taking multiple conditions. I'm using else if a is equal to 5, it has to print, let us take at the rate. Next, else. In this else, I'm not mentioning any condition, because if these three cases doesn't work, then it goes to the else block and prints the statement inside the else block, that is not valid. That means the number is not equal to either 2 or 3 or 4, 5. Okay, now I'll run this. Okay, a value is, I'll take 3, so 3 is star. So if I take value other than 2, 3, 5, I'll take 6, so it has to print not valid. Okay, now we'll see switch case. Switch case is very simple. It is same like a else if statement. Here we will be having a cases. Cases mean these are the conditions, and every case is ending with a break statement. Okay, if you don't mention break here, the rest of the statement will also be printing. So I'll show you this in the program. You can see the syntax: switch followed by this expression and conditions inside the switch block. And we also have this default statement. It works like a else statement. So if these conditions don't work, it directly prints me the default statement. So now we'll see the switch. I'll directly take this a value 3. No, I'll take it from the keyboard only. A value scanf percentile d comma present a. Okay, now I'll take switch case on a. So followed by braces and expression, that is a I'm taking. So conditions will be based on a. So case 1, printf. I'll take the same symbols, that is $break. Case 2, printf @break. I'll print default statement. Printf not valid. Okay, now I'll explain you how this works. If my condition, that is if the value of a is 1, then this statement will be printed, that is the output will be, I'll take here $. The output will be $. If the a value is 2, the output will be @. If these two conditions don't work, that means if the a value is not equal to 1 or 2, then this statement, that is not value, will be printed. I'll show you. I'll run this program. A value is 1. If I take it has to print $. Let us see the another case other than 1 and 2. I'll take 4. So not valid. If you take any other value other than 1 and 2, it has to print not valid. Okay. If I don't mention break here, I'll show you what happens. If I don't mention break, I'll run this. So if I take 2, so whatever the statements after that 2 case, it prints all that statement. That means the output will be, so I'll show you. See, after case we have 2 statement, that is one is at the rate and not value. It prints the 2 statements because we are not mentioning any break here, so it prints me at the rate and not valid. Okay, now here I have removed breaks, so I'll enter a value, that is 2. So if I enter 2, it has to print all the statements after the condition 2. So I meant, see, at the rate not valid, it has to print 2 statements. So the output will be at the rate and not valid, because I have not mentioned break here. So these 2 statements will be printed. Okay, this is all about the conditional statements. Thank you.